We're
All right.
to Thrive with Jason Stevenson.
Hi, everybody.
I forgot to do everything.
That's authentic. That is the only way that we do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
So-
truthfully, this is an evolution of our conversations that have been ongoing for years. We're just systemizing it, formalizing it, and inviting everybody to be part of it now.
Yes, absolutely. All of those things that you just said. So, oh man. And now you could just hear yourself on my phone because for some reason I'm
Live on Facebook.
an Episcopal priest today. Yeah. So what are we talking about?
Not religion.
What are we talking about today? No, he always, the Father Sunil, I love him. He always is looking to see who is live and watching on the Christchurch page, but he always forgets to mute his phone. So he's looking at the phone and then you can hear him as a delay. It's a big thing. Anyway, what are we talking about today, Jay?
Actually, what we talk about a lot, which is your attitude and your perspective. So how it relates to your health and how it relates to your overall wellness, meaning thoughts become things. And what are we doing about that?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the show. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, come on back.
All right,
see you soon.
Okay, so how your attitude relates to your health. This makes a lot of sense to me. I have a terrible attitude and terrible health. So
you do not have a terrible attitude.
End of show.
Think that what often happens though is that our attitude is kind of a widespread thing. You know, it's not just my self-portrayal, it's also my self-talk, which is really what I'm talking about here, which is that internal monologue. The power of the mind is drastically understated. You know, we've learned through recent studies that we're still using about 10% of our brains, and that so much of it is automatic thought. The brain is a pretty complex organism that is a constant responsive system to our environment, to our history, to our impulses, and also our input. And what that means is that whatever you encounter in your environment, whether it is something that you see, touch, hear, feel, or something that you actually ingest, or the way that you talk to other people and talk to yourself, has a drastic impact on your cellular structure and thus your overall health and wellness. And the easiest way that I can prove this is they have proven the placebo effect. You know, they take blind studies and they give somebody a drug for headaches and they give somebody the placebo for the headaches, and they tell them both that it's a miracle drug and it's going to take away their pain. And they've actually proven that most placebos actually work better than the pharmaceutical drugs right now.
Because so much of it is your attitude and your mental state when you're that makes sense. I just want to shout out Megan, who's listening in with no power.
That's impressive.
Yes.
Still no power, huh?
It's bad. It's bad right now.
Shout out to all of those without power and that are dealing with the ramifications of Mother Nature right now. Hoping everybody is okay and safe.
Also, maybe save your phone battery and watch this later, because it'll be up on Thrive Training on Facebook. You know, you don't have to watch it right now. Like,
it's recording. Yeah. Charge your battery.
I promise. It's okay.
You'll need it for something later anyway.
Yeah.
Like Facebook.
I don't know why I'm telling people to actively turn off the show, but that might be because you're going to make me talk about myself later.
Maybe.
So, all right. So anyway, it's we've talked about this. I'm on a portable charger. Well, that's awesome.
Good answer.
Yes. So, but I mean, so we've talked about this, like in the gym, like if you have the perspective that something is going to be hard, then it's going to be hard. And if you have the perspective that something is going to be easy, then it's going to be actually less difficult. So that is,
that's the point.
Yeah, that's the point. And
I wanted to talk about this today with you because you touched on it last week a couple times, and we were talking about mindset. You know, what is the mindset going into any endeavor? like you just said? Am I going in with the thought and that self-talk, that inner monologue? This is going to suck. This is going to be hard. This is going to be, I don't want to do it. I don't want to get out of bed. Like, what is that self-talk that you're allowing to occur, right?
Yeah.
That self-speak is so powerful because it gives you the opportunity to go in either direction. And it's not like it's going to change the circumstances of reality. You're not going to feel a 20-pound dumbbell lighter than if you were talking about it being heavy. It's just the perspective on the work effort that you're putting your mind through. I can do this attitude is one of the reasons that Nike is so famous. We're not seeing superstar athletes and going, I might be able to do it.
Yeah.
Nobody watched Michael Jordan jump from the foul line, bought his sneakers and thought, yeah, maybe. Like, that's a whole generation of people that went out there and said, I can do this, and that's been a huge marketing campaign for them. And it's the same mentality. You'll hear me say it in every session. You can do this. You can do this. You may not think you can, but I promise you, I'll never give you something that you can't do. It might be challenging. It might suck. It might be hard to do. But if you approach it as I can do this, you've already gotten halfway through it. Because we have to win that battle in our heads. And that relates to everything. Am I going to get out of bed on time? Am I going to start my day correctly? Am I going to meditate? Am I going to drink my water? Am I going to eat smart? Like, what choices I'm making are driven by my conscious choices.
Mm-hmm.
That's the piece that everybody forgets. You have an automatic side to your brain that automatically fires on neurological impulses that are related to everything that you've ever experienced in your life at 1,000 times per second, frames of images and emotions and experiences that you've had that are completely related to every circumstance that you've ever had. And your brain is trying to filter all of that to the most powerful, usually the most poignant. And it may be a good memory, it may be a good emotion, it may be a good thought process that connects to that moment. But if you threw up the last time you did burpees and I say, do 10 burpees, and your brain goes, then you're already lost. Like, you've already lost the battle. But if you can filter it, if you can hear that thought and go, no, I can do this. If you can consciously override your automatic thinking, the same you would with a child. And that's usually how I talk to myself. If I find myself getting into that negative self-speak, or if I find myself coming to that place where I know I don't want to be, then I turn and I literally will like physically turn myself a little bit, or I'll pull back a little bit and I'll change the pitch of my voice. I'll change the tone of my voice the same way I would to my niece and nephew. And I'll say, is that really the way you want to go through this? Is that really the way you want to experience this? And it stops that brain for a heartbeat. It's amazing. Every time you do it, your brain goes, like, what are you doing to me? Because it's you. There's nobody else in there. Why are you letting your automatic brain think faster and stronger than you? You have willpower. You have desires. You have goals. You have dreams. And those are much stronger and much more powerful than that automatic thought process. That's an ongoing thing. It's the same reason that we're capable of recalling things, because your memory works like that. You can automatically pull up the file bank in your brain and come up with names or dates and the automatic thoughts that are already stored there for that purpose. Like when I'm driving somewhere, I don't think, got to turn left in 100 feet. Your automatic brain automatically fires that. That's how we have learned behaviors and learned movements. It's a good thing. But when it overpowers your choices and helps you get into a place where you don't want to be, what's the point? Why are you letting that be the stronger voice? You're better than that. There was this great study. There was this great study that was done by a very famous Japanese scientist, and it's what made me first think about this. I was in Atlanta with my dad and my brother for the Olympics, because my dad's this huge Olympic buff, and it was the first Olympics that he took us to. And we were waiting in the subway station because for safety and security reasons, you couldn't drive into the city. And there was this display, and there was these huge posters, and they were crystals magnified 100 times, and they were beautiful. These magnificent, huge, gigantic posters. And as you went down the line of posters, texture and the color and the clarity changed on these crystals. And then you read the little description on it. And here, this scientist had labeled jars of water and focused on those jars of water and written things on them that were love and power and hate, and given those jars time and energy in the same way, like taking that jar of love and held it and loved on it and gave it love and thought about it as love, and did the same thing in the converse for the hate ones. And the differences on this were stunning. Like, you look at the most beautiful snowflake that you've ever seen under a microscope, and that's what some of these crystals look like. And those were the ones that had powerful, positive energy put into them, and thought processes and handwriting on them that was loving and words of love. And then the ones down further down the road look like Batman's villain's cave. It was crazy. Like, pictures you didn't really want to look at, that you thought there's something wrong with that. And those were the ones that were connected to evil and darkness and had words that tyrants of our history have spoken, written on the jars. And that's all that was done to these jars. The specimens of water were all identical, and the temperature zones and everything else was controlled. And that blew my mind. That blew my mind. I was a teenager and I thought, you got to be kidding me.
That is, I need to read about that. I need to
send you
look
the
more
link.
about that. Yeah, thank you. Peg says, "Hey there,"
Hi, Mom.
and Rubino says, "I love you, Ben Barber." I know.
Aw, we all love Ben.
I know. It's a thing. A lot of love for Ben.
I can actually
Thank you,
send
Bino.
it
I
to
love you
you.
too. Megan says, "We are all human. We all have ups and downs, and we all have negative self-talk. Be more forgiving of yourself and find something that will bring you back to being present in whatever your goals are. Accept those thoughts and release them as best you can."
So, phenomenal point, because that's pretty much the next step here. So thank you, Meg. What do we do? What do we do when we catch ourselves in this? The first step is just awareness. The first step is recognizing what that thought does for you and where you can go with it. When you find yourself literally just think, sit back and think, where is that thought coming from? And what is it going to do for me? Is it going to help me move forward, or is it going to hold me back? Which is pretty much the whole point of Thrive, right? What is helping me move forward in my life, in my goals, in my health and wellness, in my quality of life, and what is holding me back? What is stopping me? So if that thought, whatever that is, whatever that intention, whatever that choice is, if it's don't get out of bed yet, sleep in, hit your snooze button, or if it's have that second helping of ice cream tonight, like whatever that choice is that comes up against you, where does that stand in your grand scheme of things, in your long-term goals for quality of life? Is that thought actually going to help serve you, or is it holding you back? And then, just like a friend or a child, if they said something, you would address it. It's okay to address it. Say, hey, listen, I want more than just this next 9 minutes of my life to be in bed. I want more than just these French fries. I want better. Address it. And then choose and move on. Because you got to acknowledge them. You can't ignore it. You can't shut out the thoughts. You can't stop the thoughts from coming. Anytime you try to, it's like a tidal wave. You can't stop the ocean waves from coming, but you can watch the waves. You can watch for the sets. You can pay attention to what's coming, and you can brace yourself to lean into a wave. You can go under it. You can go over it, or you can just stand there and take it. But either way, the waves are going to keep coming. It's just how you handle each wave that matters.
Absolutely. I think that, you said something a couple weeks ago about, like, you said something to me a couple weeks ago about, like, writing a letter to myself as if it was to my friend. And I, like, when you talk about how your attitude relates to your health, the way that the energy that you give yourself really matters. If you constantly show love to something, there's gonna be, like, reciprocation there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when you're nothing but great to your friends and your kids, and you know what I mean, Like when you love a plant, like
Yes.
when you nourish something and love it and approach it with that attitude of care, it's things are easier and better and brighter, and you know what I mean. And so why would you not do that for yourself? I don't know. No, I've never done it for myself, so I don't know the answer to that. But that's that makes complete sense.
That's why I love the example with the crystals, because at a cellular structural level, we're mostly water. And if you can see the proof in the impact of positive versus negative on something as simple as water, and then recognize that you are cellularly mostly water, that the same impact is possible, that you can then impact your body. There are countless stories of people that have been diagnosed with cancer that just didn't give up and fought through it and beat it. And there's stories of people that have given up. Now, you can't change your circumstances. There are some things that just life will continue to do whatever it does to us. How you go through it, how you experience it, how you remember it, and how you impact it is up to you. You have that choice. It is possible. That's the crazy part. And we're just starting to scratch the surface of what is possible in our universe, because we're just barely starting to learn what is out in our universe and what our bodies are made up of. You know, a couple hundred years ago, we still thought the Earth was flat, and this the
Some
Earth
people
was.
still do.
That's they're open to options. You know, everybody's allowed to believe what they want to believe, right? But we
Yeah,
have science and proof and things to. Yeah, it's round. It's got curve, but it's the same thing. You know,
yeah,
it's
it
our
does.
science and technology that continues to evolve and expand our universe and our understanding. Why not try to make better time and application of that with yourself, and then see what you can do with it? That's the best part about all of this. You got nothing to lose by trying to be better to yourself, by regulating that self speak. That's why I love that letter.
Your mom thinks the Earth is flat, man. Your mom thinks the Earth is flat. That's
Sorry,
what we've just
mom.
learned.
This is an example of what our children can teach our parents. No, that's the thing. The truth is, we can choose to believe whatever we want to, but gravity still works. You know, you cannot impact the reality of life. What you can do is impact the way that you live that life and how you experience that life and what you can control. That's why I've got that tattooed here. Where is that camera? You can set the sails or you can curse the winds. So what's your choice? What are you going to do? When the winds pick up, you just going to yell at the wind, or are you going to set
Yeah.
the sails? You're going to drive forward in charge, right? So Ben,
Yep. What's up?
how was your mindset this week?
Terrible.
Why?
It just was.
That
Had
happens.
a, I don't know. I had a bad week. I did. I had a terrible week, health and wellness wise, I guess. And I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't what we had talked about at all. I uh, was busy, and I, like always, didn't make any time for myself during that busyness. And I, you know, did not. Oh, thank you, Meg. So
Damn
Meg
right.
said, "Me too. Today is a new day." Absolutely. And yeah, so we had talked about implementing the small meals throughout the day, all week, and that did not happen. It started happening a little bit today, via encouragement, and so that was good. But yeah, the I didn't. Um, there were like several days that in this past week where I didn't eat until like 2:30 in the afternoon, and then I didn't eat dinner until like midnight. And
Damn.
that's not even like a usual thing for me, but that was the and
That's life.
yeah, and last night I went upstairs to eat dinner literally at like midnight, and I texted Dave to just double check what there was, and he didn't answer because he was asleep already. And then this morning he was okay. And then last week, I'm sorry, I got a text and my mind went somewhere else from Father Sunil, who I name dropped earlier. Anyway, but this morning he was like, "You got to knock off this eating at midnight shit, dude." And I was like, "Yeah." And yeah, so this morning I was like, "Okay, I'm up. I gotta do this. I gotta start tracking and making sure that I'm back on top of this right now." And so it was not a great week in terms of what we had planned for the week. You and I during our last podcast last week, but it will be this week, and in regards to how your attitude relates to your health, and what I was saying about how you show love to others, like you need to do that for yourself. I had a profound short conversation about this topic yesterday that was so deeply caring about me that and filled with love that I was really like, why can't I do that for myself? And so that's gonna happen. Like it, yeah.
Then that's your new homework. Let go of everything else. Don't worry about tracking. Try to eat more frequently than earlier. That's a definite.
Yeah.
But I think you focusing on your mindset and your self-talk is a great place to start right now, because you do have a lot on your plate and you have always prioritized other people in front of you for as long as I've known you. That's why I love you, because that's the kind of person you are. But you certainly deserve to have that kind of a conversation with yourself occasionally. You don't have to do it every day. But I'm glad to hear that. That's a great attitude of gratitude for you to hold on to. Like, spend a little bit of time over the next couple of days kind of being in that moment and feeling that, so that you can come back to it.
Yeah.
Because that self-speak from somebody else is something that they see as a reflection of who you are. They're seeing you and they're giving that to you. Somebody gave you a great gift yesterday because they love you and care about you, and they see what you are challenged to see, which is often common in our world. This isn't about rose-tinted glasses. This is not about ignoring the chaos that's our world right now, or the awfulness that goes on in life. But this is about being able to look at the positive side of it and being able to lead your life with that beauty and the power and the love. It should feel like that every day, man. You deserve to feel the way you feel right now, the way that somebody else sees you. You deserve to feel that way every day. Don't you?
I don't know.
Wouldn't that be amazing if you woke up every day?
It would
you
be
woke
nice.
up every day.
First of all, I just want to say thank you to Peg and Meg for the nice comments. That's very nice. And then Bino has a question that I would love to get to, because I've wanted to talk to Bino about this for a while, and it's such a huge part of what I personally love. So Bino says, I've recently switched to a vegan lifestyle for the last 3 weeks. At first, I originally planned to go plant-based, but decided to go all the way once I started. I've been vegan for the last 3 weeks, and at first I lost 14 pounds, but recently I've come to a halt. I found myself doubting my choice, but have yet to give in. but this is a continuing cycle for me and my habits. I am trying to have a sustainable lifestyle. Um, I know that you talk a lot about sustainability and keep it simple, and like uh, you know, I did the plant based for almost a year, and I loved it so much. And the only reason I stopped was because of the pandemic and not going out and doing grocery shopping and cooking myself because I was busy doing other things, and I just it was too much to put on someone else. Um, and but if you have any questions about that, dude, I would love to talk to you because I friggin' loved it. I loved every second of it. But it's not it's a dangerous thing because just because you're eating plant based doesn't mean that you're eating healthy, and
Correct.
like um there's so many things, like there's so many, like Jay has talked to me very many times about there's so many processed foods that you could be eating. Like if you're still eating crap like Beyond Burgers and stuff, like they taste great and they're not meat, and that serves a great purpose, but they're also not really food. Like they're not really food the same way that like a Cheeto isn't really food. um and your mom says vegan is not easy or simple. I kind of disagree with that, because if you're just eating like if you're eating things like the tempeh, like tempeh is great, tofu is great, vegetables and fruits and veggies are great. Um, like it can be really enjoyable and really, but like also don't beat yourself up on that, dude.
Yeah.
Like don't
Huge.
yeah, don't beat yourself up on that.
So is he asking because he's doing this as an effort to lose weight and that's why he's stalling? So
He
he's feeling?
is. Yeah. Hey, Bino, what do you do at 11 a.m. on Wednesdays? Do you want to come on next week and talk about this with Jay?
We can definitely talk about it.
Because if you want to, man, that would be great. Rubino is a really good friend of mine that I met in New York when we went to acting school together, and so he's very good friends with Dave and I. And Indian food has been a big go-to for me. Indian food is amazing. Indian food, Thai food is great. Like there's a lot of stuff that you can do, man.
That
But
might
I
be
would.
that hold that thought. So real quick, let me address a couple things. So that might be what my mom's talking about actually, because one of the biggest cautions that I recommend people to do is one,
Yes, please.
if, um, if you're cooking like you said, and you're cooking and you're making all the food and you have control over your entire environment and you have control over all your ingredients, then it can be simple because you're just not eating any animal-based products and you're not
Yeah,
buying animal-based products and get them out of your house and get them out of your kitchen. And then you're just eating vegan. And it's that simple in that sense, as far as like, it's not complicated to eat something without a plant-based or without an animal base to it. However, if you start going out and you're getting products from someplace else, then you need to have a serious conversation with the manager, because most servers and restaurant staff don't really know the difference. But you could be eating like French fries, like we just talked about, as far as what is quality versus what's good for you. Because French fries are technically vegan, right? That's a potato. It's just fried.
at most places.
Correct. But where's it cooked?
Yeah,
It's cooked in a fry later with a whole bunch of other meat. Where is your vegan patty or your veggie burger cooked, or where are your vegetables cooked at a restaurant that uses a large flat top cooking surface for most of their meal prep? So that large flat top cooking surface is utilized for everything. And although most kitchens are pretty clean and have passed lots of safety sanitation standard requirements, there's a lot of places that the chef, unless they're told by the server that you're strictly vegan and no animal products whatsoever, a lot of kitchens are just doing your service and they're putting that plate together, and that came up as a vegetarian option, and it just looks like veggies that are getting sauteed with pasta. So what plate, what bowl, what other cooking implements are used, whether cooking oils are used. The tough
stock.
thing, yes, stocks, huge stocks are big damn time thing, because a lot of
Yep.
places will use it's a vegetable soup. Is that vegetarian? And server says, yeah, that's vegetarian. All it is vegetable soup. Well, they use chicken stock for it, or they use beef stock or pork stock, where there was butter sauteing the vegetables. So be cautious about that. Be informed and find information, ask questions. Tell the staff that you are vegan and absolutely no animal byproducts whatsoever, and tell them to tell the kitchen. The other one is anytime you embark on a new nutrition plan, you're going to see immediate results. That's why every company that has ever marketed something out there for some kind of nutritional adjustment that's going to guarantee results, you guarantee results in the first 60 days. Because if you take yourself, and then most Americans fall into this category, anybody would, that you can just adjust your nutrition enough, you're going to see results. If you take crap out of your diet, if I stop drinking beer on the weekends, yes, that's exactly right, Mom. For non-cooks, vegetarian and vegan is very challenging. So get a vegan book, go on YouTube and learn.
I do know that he is a great cook. I have a bunch of resources that I can send you. I was very lucky. My friends bought me cookbooks and stuff, and YouTube is just a massive help. So if that is something that you want to do and keep doing, man, one person I highly recommend, dude, check out Caitlin Shoemaker on YouTube. She makes a bunch of ridiculously simple food that is sustainable, and there's like 6 years worth of videos. So that's a great, simple, easy. I mean, things get more complicated, and she doesn't use oil and she doesn't use processed foods and
good.
So that's
So stick with it. That's always my suggestion. Find something and stick with it. Commit to it for 90 days. It takes 90 days for your body to really adjust to anything really, and readjust and readjust and readjust. So you're going to find the roller coaster of success is a constant up and down. Nobody has ever been on a linear line that just, it doesn't happen like that. It's going to be a process. Look for the lifestyle stuff that we've talked about in the past. Look for the quality of life. Look for your quality of ingredients. Look for how you feel to be sustainable. As long as you're being smart about your food choices, continue. Just keep going. Got nothing to lose. Give it a shot.
Also, buddy, please, I recommend going back and listening to Jay's first several episodes, because those first 4 weeks of fitness tips and food tips were all about sustainability, keeping it simple, all of that stuff.
Get rid of your scale. Stop looking at the scale for your successes right now.
Yeah, so Jay has a lot of great information in those talks. That he talks about both fitness and nutrition in those. So, Jay, where can people find you?
They can find me in Westerly. The easiest way is to get on the website, thrivetrainingteam.com. Any questions relating to your health and wellness, give me a shout. And remember, this is about how you live your life. You want to remember it. You want to enjoy it. Go out there and thrive. Stop letting that voice tell you anything different than you actually deserve to live an amazing life.